You know the funny thing is, you know when people say to you, you're black, you're fast. Oh, you're black, you must be strong. You're white, you must be a criminal. You're white, you must be a genocidal killer. That's how stupid it sounds what you just said. Are you mad? Are you mad? Are you lean? If you don't know, Kaepernick was an American footballer, still is, and struggling to find a team who to play with. We'll talk about that. Bergdorf has just been fired by L'Oreal. We'll talk about that. Oh, excuse me. Enni Aluko has just been dropped from the England team. We'll talk about that. As of late, the media has been pumped full of stories about racism. And it's one of these topics where I know a lot of people don't like talking about it. I know a lot of white people find it a very tippy-toey because it's a dangerous subject to get into. You know, they want to ask if they can say nigger, and they can't, unless you've got that kind of relationship with me. Let's talk about systematic racism. Systematic racism literally means that the social and the political institutions which are meant to look after the people are actually working against a certain race. What race is that? Black people. Just going to be put it out there. Now, I'm not sure some white people are going to watch them go, I mean, are they going to ever forget about, slavery? Are they ever going to forget about the system's always against them? And they're always going to stop complaining? When are they going to actually accept that, you know, the reason why people are in prison is because they shoot people, they kill people, listen, the list goes bloody on. But the truth of the matter still lies at there is a systematic racism that goes on that works against us. Okay, when you have policemen killing people who are black and killing them in numbers and getting away with it, listen, we are going to pull you up. Okay, what we do know as black people, especially as black people, we know that the institutions and society itself is geared to be against us, and that's from your very birth. When you watch on TV and you see a quotas of black people who end up, listen, I make jokes about black people being killed in the film first. We all do. But the truth of the matter is they do get killed a lot of times first in the film. They are normally the scapegoats. Listen, let me tell you something now. If we're in a horror film and it's real, black people are the first people out of there. We're not investigating. We don't deep dive underneath the seas. We don't deep dive in volcanoes. We don't do dangerous stuff, people. Okay? In my past ancestors, when they saw the water, they didn't even want to go near the water because we was afraid of the water. You understand? We don't do dangerous things, mate. Do you understand? So when it comes to the dangers, we're not involved, mate. I got to shout out Ben and Jerry's, okay? Because when I put that systematic racism, Ben and Jerry's came up and they explained several reasons why we still know that systematic racism exists. I looked at it and I go, hold on a minute. Ben and Jerry's, you know, big company like that, you know, owned by white people too, you know, big like that. And like Bergdorf said, if you ain't trying to dismantle racism, then you part of the problem. Well done. Because when I clicked on it, you know, they explained it, they broke it down, you know what I mean? And it takes a lot of guts for a big company like that. You could lose customers, but clearly they haven't lost any customers. Which lets you know, listen, there's nothing to fear about talking about this particular issue when it comes to things like food, dressing or clothes, anything to do with business, but black people consume, don't be afraid because we're still going to consume. They're going to do that Schlur. You know, I'm trying to get sponsored by Schlur, so Schlur, if you're watching this, just going to let you know I'm a big fan of yours. So listen, I want to talk to you about Colin Kaepernick. I want to talk to you about something about people say slavery is over. Slavery hasn't died. Someone made a very good comment about American footballers. Slavery has changed from chains to now being in a full body armor. And what that means is just because you pay me doesn't mean I'm not still a slave. Do you get it? Because what we see is that the NFL is 70% black. But the truth of the matter is that who are the masters? Who own these big football companies? White people. And so what we see with Colin Kaepernick is when he decided that he was not going to stand at the national anthem, why did it cause outrage? It caused outrage because instead of him actually being stereotypical, trying to fight the way that they wanted him to fight, he chose a different way. Silent, quiet, in peace. This is why Martin Luther King was so dangerous. He decided to fight in love by saying, we're going to march, we're going to do this, we're going to educate ourselves, we're going to put ourselves in places where we can have dialogue with people. So what does that do? It puts them on the back front. And it makes them fear because now, when you're not being aggressive, when you're not shooting, when you're not killing, when you're not trying to be violent towards them, how they react? Because now you look like the aggressor when you react aggressively. You don't just wipe out people because that's going to cause your own people to see that that's not right. And so when you see Colin Kaepernick not refusing to stand for the national anthem, that's all he refused to do. You have even certain black people even saying in the media that he was wrong for doing that. What do you mean? What would you mean? What else should he do? I mean, he could have chosen to do something completely wild, but he decided and sacrificed even his own footballing career to be on one knee. I find that quite admirable. I find that quite admirable. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that as black people we need to do. We need to take a stand. Or take a seat. And we need to take a stand, you get what I'm saying? Against when these things happen. But the thing is, if we fear about who owns our bills, because I looked at it and I go, Kaepernick came out like that, but who else was deciding to back him? No, I didn't see none of the basketball players who are, the majority of basketball teams, black as well, I didn't see none of the basketball players really support him. There was a few, but there weren't many. I didn't see many of the baseball stars support him. I didn't see many of the TV stars support him. Do you get what I'm saying? And I'm talking about publicly. Not personally, publicly. Do you get what I mean? So, because when you stand in the shadows and we can't see you, the rest of us can't see you. Do you get it? You may support him privately, he may be strengthened by that, but the rest of us who need your strength, who are in those high positions, we can't see you. So there's nothing we don't benefit apart from the fact when Kaepernick stands up. Do you get what I'm saying? You have to understand that revolution often comes by blood. I will give you an example. In the Bible, revolution, grace could only come by bloodshed. Sometimes revolution can only come by blood. The Industrial Revolution, by blood. Do you get it? Change of kingship to queenship, or queenship to kingship, kingship to different kingship, kingdoms to different kingdoms, blood. Blood will be shed. And in order for sometimes for our uprising to happen, there may be blood. And I'm not talking about us going out to kill. I'm talking about the fact that we may die for this cause. Do you get what I'm saying? And this is what I'm saying that certain people can't understand, because this is something that you can lose your life over. Do you get what I'm saying? In Colin Kaepernick's situation, he isn't losing blood as in physically, but the blood which is his lifeline, money, because money answers all things, as the Bible would say. He has lost that aspect because, in a sense, someone might say he gets a £1 million contract. Yeah, but how long does that last? How long does that last? Ask yourself. How long does that last when you've got bills to pay? How long does that last when you try to run a campaign? You need money. Presidents people are going to become presidents need money. They can't run on the same money. They have to inject and have investments. Do you get it? So the lifeline is your money. And so for Colin Kaepernick, his blood has been sucked in terms of money. Sometimes it takes people to go through situations to understand what you're going to understand, that they need to stand up. But sometimes your stand up can inspire others. That's what Martin Luther King, Malcolm X did, Rosa Parks did. They inspired others to do and to move forward and to take a stand and to die even because they have stood up. And that is what we call leadership. That's what we call leading by example. That's what we call leadership in dangerous waters. Do you understand? So what Colin Kaepernick has done is mad. For me, that's big. And for the rest of us, we need to do what we can do. Listen, even if it's tweeting, even if it's writing blogs, even if it's doing videos like this, vlogs, even if it's talking about having that conversation, if you know what I mean, we need to have this dialogue, because at the end of the day, we are getting killed. Do you know what I'm saying? And we're never going to win this war by just going out and shooting. We're never going to win this war by retaliating. This ain't going to be a war that we want to win. I've got white friends. I'm not racist. Screw that back. But you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, you know, these, I don't find these people bad people at all. They're good people. So it's not every white person that's racist, but we need to educate the white people that are on our side already so that they can back us. You get me? Because there will come a time where maybe it'll be black people and white people. They got to make a choice. I'm just being real out here, G. The Bergdorf issue. Do you know what really frustrates me is the fact that they still got Cheryl Cole on this particular campaign. Are you mad? Are you mad? Do you know what even worries me more? The fact that Cheryl Cole has been found out before, fam. Like, when this is your UK, you know already, with the X Factor. Remember when Gavin was in it? Fam? But Gavin was not the only black person. Cheryl Cole dropped all the black people that were good that year. Are you mad? At the Villa Park. We wanted to lose our rag, fam. What do you mean all the black people are not good enough? Are you nuts, fam? And she put some shallow people in there as well, fam. But you put on L'Oreal adverts and sack Bergdorf. We're not buying in it. I want to talk about Enni Aluko. I don't know if you know about Enni Aluko. She was a female football player, black female football player. She's got 102 caps, okay? Last season, I think she had 16 goals in 18 games or whatever, okay? This girl was banging goals for England, yeah? I want you to understand, it's like Wayne Rooney, it's like Neymar, it's like Ronaldinho, it's like Messi, it's like Cristiano Ronaldo, banging goals in for their country, yeah? And then they get dropped. Why would they drop them for? And the timing of the dropping was mad, because Enni Aluko had obviously done Enni Aluko had done basically a survey which was meant to be confidential. Let me tell you something about confidentiality. It doesn't exist. Okay, confidentiality doesn't exist. You talk, you look like a snitch. People are gonna always try and get you out there. Do you get me? I'm not saying she's a snitch. I'm saying that people are always trying to. They will always shake you. Always. You know what I'm saying? They work together. You know what I mean? Boom. So Scholastic. Enni had obviously did a survey for a cultural piece, basically explaining about the culture in the England woman setup, and she was quite honest about it, explaining some certain things. Now those comments that she also came up with about Mark Sampson, the England female coach at the time, said obviously he basically the girls were inviting their families over to the football game match, and I think this was China Cup 2015, and then what happened was that Mark Simpson had decided to say to her, like, oh, where's your family? Where are they coming? And she said, yeah, they're coming from Nigeria. And he said, obviously, make sure you don't bring a bowler. Now, you're mad. Don't bring a bowler. You stupid, fam. Mark Sampson. You stupid, fam. Listen, you're not... See, people just stress me, you know. I have to calm down and just say Jesus is Lord, innit? Because otherwise I'll start saying some prayers. Like, I'll start saying some prayers which are mad. You get me? Because you can't come to me and tell me that my family shouldn't bring a bowler down. Joke or not. Do you get me? Because we don't have that relationship. Listen, racism exists when we don't have that relationship. If we have that friendly banter, we can drop bars on each other. I drop jokes about how my fingers are chocolate fingers, and I say, listen, guys, if you're hungry, take a bite. Do you get me? I don't mind doing the racial banter, so long as we're cool like that. But if you drop bars about, make sure your family don't bring a bowler over, fam, I'm going to take strict. I'm going to be pissed off with what you're saying, fam. You're mad. You lost the plot, rude boy. You've lost the plot. You don't know who I am. You don't know who I am. Calm it, G. So, understand that comment was so racist. Was out of order. And this is not the first time he's been a bit over the top in terms of the racial jokes, because there was another girl, I can't remember her name. She also complained. And what happened to her? She ain't in the England team no more. Do you get it? See? And systematic racism exists in all forms. It exists in sport. It exists. You know what the funny thing is? You know when people say to you, "You're black, you're fast." Oh, you're black, you must be strong. You're white, you must be a criminal. You're white, you must be a genocidal killer. That's how stupid it sounds. What you just said. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's what people do, and they don't understand that this is also an indoctrination of racism that you've been fed. You're black, you're only good for strength. You're black, you're only good for this. Niggas are dumb. Niggas should only be picking cotton from the field. It's that same rhetoric, but just in a different light. So people need to understand, if you ain't got a relationship, it is racist. If you know me like that, you can catch jokes like that. Don't worry. But if you don't know you like that, you can't be dropping bars like that. You get me? But listen, I just want to talk about that issue. It was just a bit stressing me out. You get what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I think we should all stand strong. Support Colin Kaepernick with prayers. If you can, finances. My bank account's broke at the moment, Colin Kaepernick. But if you see this, I appreciate you. Get in touch with me. I'll put you in my workout regime. Don't watch that. Enni Aluko, if you hear this as well, I'm supporting you with prayer. You're Nigerian. So I know your mum is just doing Karabao, Soko, Rabaha in the background. You get me? And Bergdorf, I appreciate what you did. And the way you're articulating yourself is important. So listen, are you mad? Are you mad? Are you lean? Listen, there's another black book. Another episode. Shadado. Shala, baby. I got a shala, baby. Sweet. Don't get mad. Get smart.